positive charge of 5 microcoulomb is put 30 centimeter from a negative charge, which is negative 4 microcoulomb. What is the magnitude of force between them? Then K is given, which is 9 times 10 to the power of 9. Okay, what is the formula to find the force between two charges? As you know, F equals K, Coulomb constant, times charge number 1 times charge number 2 in coulombs both, over the radius, which is the distance between them squared, and also the distance has to be what? In meter. Okay, now when I just put the numbers or the values of variables in this equation, I have to check first if they are in the SI units, or I should convert them. So now we're going to see here a charge number 1. This one now here, a charge number 1. What is its value? As you see, it's 5 microcoulomb. So 5 microcoulomb, I have to change it into coulomb. So we multiply 5 microcoulomb times 10 to the power of negative 6. This is how we multiply it, how to change any unit into for any micro unit into the unit itself. We multiply times 10 to the power of negative 6 here. Okay, what about here the distance? The distance is 30 centimeters. Okay, this is now the radius. 30 centimeter is not in standard form, so I have to change it into what? Into meter. So again, change it 30 times 10 to the power of what? Of negative 2. In this case now, this is the radius. This is now the radius, which equals what? 30 times 10 to the power of negative 2. But when I put this radius inside the formula here, will I put it as radius or as the radius squared? As the radius squared. So that means now I'm going to make it squared in order what? In order to put it directly to the equation. So the radius squared now, when you square here, when you square all these ones now, you square the 30 alone and you square 10 power negative 2 alone. So when you square the 30, it's going to be 900. And it's going to be what? The 30 will be 900. And 10 power negative 2, when you square it, it's going to be 10 power negative what? Negative 4. And now this one, 900, you can write it like 9 times 10 to the power of 2. So that means I can write it 9 times 10 to the power of 2 times 10 to the power of what? Of negative 4. So that means the result you'll find is what? It's going to be 9 times 10 to the power negative 2. And here it's going to be what? When you add the powers, it's going to be 9 times 10 to the power of negative 2. Now the radius squared is ready. The radius squared is now ready for us, which is here. And Q1 is also what? Ready. We go to see Q2 here. Q2 here, as you see, it equals negative 4. Negative 4 now, we're going to multiply it times, since it is microcoulomb, we're going to change it into coulomb, times 10 to the power of negative what? Of negative 6. So that means now, given Q2 is given here, and Q1, as you see here, is given, and here the radius squared is also what? Given here. And Coulomb constant, as you see, is given here, and it is ready. So now what I should do is, I put the numbers in their places in the formula. So F equals, now K, which is the constant, equals 9 times 10 to the power of 9 times Q1. What is Q1? Q1 is 5 times 10 to the power of negative 6. Okay, times Q2. What is Q2? As you see, it's 4, regardless of the number, regardless of the negative or positive. We're going to write it without the sign, and the sign we put it in the end if needed. Times here 4 times 10 to the power of what? Of negative 6. Here now I multiplied what? I multiplied the constant times charge number 1 times the charge number 2 as here in the formula. All of that, as you see, all of that is divided by what? By the radius squared. What is the radius squared? It is 9 times 10 to the power of negative 2. Now what I do for this next for this step now, just I simplify. How I simplify? Like here, the 9 will go by the 9. This is number 1. Number 2, I go to the numbers. Here I have a number, as you see, 5 and 4. I'm going to multiply them, I'll get what? Just to multiply 5 times 4, I'll get what? 20. So what I still now finished, this 4 now is not there. This 5 is not there, and the 9 and the 9 is not there. What is left now? What is left is just 10 with powers. 10 with powers. So now the 10 that is power 2 in the denominator, I'll leave it as it is for first here. Now I multiply just what is up. So 10 power here. 10 power negative 9 here. Again, multiply it by 10 power negative 6 by 10 power negative 6. When you multiply them, you just add the powers. 10 minus 6 minus 6 is going to be 10 power what? Power negative 3. Now what I do now here? Now when I subtract the powers, 10 power negative 3, when I divide the powers, I subtract them. So that means what will I get now here? It's going to be F equals 20 times 10 power negative 3 over 10 power negative 2. You're going to subtract it. It's going to be negative 3 minus negative. It's going to be plus 2. So that means it's going to be 10 power what? Power negative 1. So that means it's going to be equal to 20 and 10 power negative 1. When you take it to the denominator, it's going to be what? It's going to be 10 power 1. So that means the result will be what? 2. And the 2 is in Newton. So this is now the answer. So you go to choose the answer, which is what here, which is 2 Newton. This is now the answer based on the steps that we did.